NEBOSH International General Certificate in Occupational Health and Safety Unit IG2. Element 6. Musculoskeletal health. Definition: ergonomics. The study of people's efficiency in their working environment. Outline the aim of ergonomics in a simple phrase. To improve working conditions, work tools and work structuring in order for the optimum result to be achieved from the work and the person at work to suffer as few setbacks as possible. Identify the health risks arising from display screen equipment, DSE, workstation use. Prolonged use of display screen equipment may cause short-term health problems like upper limb pains and discomfort, eye strain, bodily fatigue and stress. The problems of discomfort at hands, arms, shoulders and the neck are common among DSE users. Identify the ergonomic risk factors associated with a repetitive task. Awkward postures, bending, compression or contact stress, forceful exertions, insufficient rest breaks, lifting, lighting. Definition: manual handling. The lifting, carrying, pushing and pulling of a load by bodily force. Outline the main injuries associated with manual handling. Back injuries, such as a prolapsed disc. Work-related upper limb disorders. Muscle tears, strains. Tendon and ligament injuries, tears, strains. Hernias. Cuts, burns, dislocation and broken bones. Identify the risk factors associated with a load during a manual handling operation. Its weight, size, shape, rigidity or lack of it. The position and stability of its center of gravity. The presence or absence of handles. Its surface texture. The stability of any contents and the contents themselves. Identify the main risk factors presented by the working environment in relation to manual handling. Space restrictions on movement and posture. Conditions of floors and other surfaces. Variations in levels. Temperature and humidity. Strong air movements. Lighting conditions. Identify the best way of minimizing the risks of manual handling. The risks of manual handling can be best minimized through the elimination of the handling activity, either by automation, or by the use of mechanical load handling equipment. What are the hazards for manually operated load handling equipment? Manual handling risk associated with pushing or pulling the truck. Instability of the load causing the load to fall. Movement up, down or across slopes causing loss of control. Poor parking of the truck causing obstruction in a traffic route. Other pedestrians possibly being struck during maneuvering. Trapped feet under the wheels or when lowering the load. Entrapment of the person being handled. What are the controls for manually operated load handling equipment? Restricting use to trained workers only. Following manufacturer's recommendations. Avoiding uneven ground and slopes. Using ramps over steps. Observing the safe working load limits of the truck. Securing the load if necessary. Using the brakes, if fitted, whenever the truck is stationary. Taking care when moving or lowering the load. Ensuring safe parking and storage to avoid obstruction. Having routine inspections and maintenance. Using safety shoes or boots to avoid crush injuries. Definition: liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, propane or butane gas, or mixtures of the two, can be transported and stored in bulk tanks or in small portable cylinders, for example camping gas. What are the hazards for liquefied petroleum gas, LPG? LPG is an explosive gas. Exhaust fumes are toxic. LPG cylinders are heavy and present a manual handling risk during changing. Those hazards associated with the storage of replacement cylinders or bulk storage of LPG. What are the precautions for forklift trucks include? Restricting use to trained operators only. Routinely visually inspecting the truck before use. Routinely maintaining the truck in accordance with the manufacturer's recommendations. Never using the forklift to lift people unless a proper working platform is attached. Ensuring that the load on the forks is secure and stable. Ensuring that the safe working load limits of the truck are not exceeded. Observing side speed limits. Never traveling with the forks raised. Never traveling with obstructed vision. What are the hazards for hoists? Falling objects, such as the load falling from the hoist, or the hoist itself falling due to structural failure. Being struck by the load during a lifting operation. Becoming entangled in moving parts. What are the precautions for hoists and lifts? Ensuring that the hoist or lift is suitable for its intended use. In particular, people should only be carried on equipment specifically designed for that purpose. Preventing people from getting underneath the hoist or lift platform or the load during a lifting operation by enclosing the base of the lift or hoist with a fence. Preventing people from gaining access to an unprotected landing edge with a passenger lift. Having safety interlocks fitted on the doors at each landing. Preventing people being carried on the lift platform from being struck by landings or other obstructions as the lift moves by constructing an enclosure around the lift platform. Observing the maximum safe working load of the lift or hoist, which should be clearly displayed. Ensuring that all safety devices, such as brakes, free-fall brakes and interlocks, were in full working order. Restricting the use of the hoist or lift where necessary to trained, competent people only. Providing information, instruction and training as required. Ensuring routine maintenance by competent engineers. Ensuring routine inspection and thorough examination as required. What are the main hazards for conveyors? Drawing. In hazards or in running nip points, where fingers might be drawn into moving parts. Entanglement, where loose clothing might become entangled with rotating parts. Falling objects, from overhead conveyor systems. What are the precautions for conveyors? Warning alarms or sirens to alert people that the belt is about to start moving. Guarding of moving parts to prevent drawing in and entanglement as far as is possible. Ensuring that emergency stop buttons or pull cords are fitted and available for use. Barriers to exclude people from the area, protects also from falling objects. Fitting guards underneath overhead conveyors to catch falling objects. Information, instruction and training for operators. Controlling loose clothing and long hair, for example by the use of overalls and hairnets in the workplace. Maintenance by authorized persons to ensure safe running. Provision of a defect reporting system. What are the main hazards for mobile crane? The crane collapsing or toppling over. The boom or jib, arm, of the crane striking against other structures during movement. The load, or part of it, falling. the load striking against objects or people while being maneuvered. Contact with live overhead cables. What are the safety precautions for mobile crane? Always check ground conditions before any lift operation is started. A crane is as good as the ground it is stood on. Weather, such as ice or rain, can change ground conditions quite quickly, making jobs inefficient or dangerous. Take note of any overhead hazards, particularly when you will be operating the crane close to buildings or in areas where there are power lines. Be observant of everything that is happening on the site around you, from personnel to other works taking place. Before starting the crane, double-check fuel and other fluids that may need to be replenished. You should also do a full inspection of the crane before each use, checking for any mechanical, electrical, structural or hydraulic issues. Ensure that the correct pads and cribbing are used for the lift operation to avoid outrigger fail or a sink. Never override the computer in a mobile crane. Ensure you have carefully read and understood the load charts for a mobile crane before you use it. Never use a mobile phone whilst operating a mobile crane. You wouldn't use a phone whilst driving on a car. It's the same thing.
Please give comment and suggestions.
Thank you.
Subscribe our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for more updates. Thank for visit our channel. See you next class.
Thank you.